All the while I am escaping with ET.
Well, g'day and welcome to the show. Have a look at this cracking barramundi. Barramundi. 1.10 m, about third cast maybe. First, second or third cast, one of the three. I'm not quite sure. I'm that excited. But look at that for a cracker of a fish. This is what you come to the territory for. And this is the wet season. We've got lots of action on the show.
There's a barrage of barra.
Oh, double hookup, ET.
Double hookup. We were just talking about double hookup stuff.
Yep.
Can it get any better?
Flathead from Kayaks.
Oh, well, I've just hooked up to something a little bit more substantial.
Oh, well, there she is. Oh, nice fish. Oh, big fish. Oh. Big fish.
And a showstopper that's even bigger than my 110 centimetre monster.
Yeah! Look at the size of it! Woo!
On the Wildman River, halfway between Darwin and Kakadu, I'm heading out on a Quintrex 520 top ender with Evinrude E-Tech power. There's no more adventurous name among all the top ends wilderness destinations than the Wildman. Just hearing it's enough to get a barra hunter's heart pounding faster. And I'm here with my good mate Chris Erity. We've come down towards the mouth of the river to fish the best of this season's runoff. And best of all, we've got the place to ourselves.
Well, what you can see here is quite not dirty water, but it's coloured water. And what that is on the top, it's the fresh pouring out. The tide's actually coming in at the moment. So underneath this brownish coloured water is nice clean water pushing in. And that's why the big mummers are coming in to feed. On the top, all little bait fish, everything that's been trapped up in the billabongs. This is the end of the wet season. Everything now is pouring back into these main channels and coming out to sea. So the big girls are just sitting in the current like this and they're waiting for something to be working nice and slow above them. Up they come, bush. And that's exactly what we're trying to resemble with these lures.
First strike to Chris, and it's not a barra.
Beautiful fish.
Nice shrimping.
Yeah, good one, mate. See the big whiskers all hanging out of the front of the fish. The great thing about this trip is I've got a mate testing out his new boat, which he's going to use as a bit of a liverboard for him, just a personal boat. It's a 30-odd footer, and he's got a boat up on top, so he's got his tender up on top, and that's what he's doing right at the moment. He's lowering the tender down. We're in air-conditioned comfort, which is fantastic, and we've decided to travel east from Darwin, and that way we can get to some areas that there's less people. And often that's a difficult thing these days. You'll turn up to a place like this and there'll be, half a dozen boats already here. We got up at 5 a.m. this morning to make sure we were here nice and early, but there's nobody else here, which is just quite amazing, which is fantastic.
So Chris and I'd better get going before we get some friendly competition for the fish around here.
Well done, ET. Good barra. No, I won't worry about the net for that one. He's all right, though.
He's all right, mate.
Yeah, nice fish. Well done, bro. He's scoffed, didn't he?
Oh, good catch.
Good catch, my man.
Catch of the week, that one.
Oh, he's a good fish.
Yeah, he really
look
waffed
at
that
it.
down. Back in the drink for you.
Good fish. Barramundi. Oh, double hookup, ET.
Double hookup. We were just talking about double hookup stuff.
How good's that? Look how filthy that water is.
Yeah.
We got a double hookup.
Oh man, can it get any better?
They're like swimming next to each other.
I caught mine up there, you caught yours down there.
Yep.
Oop.
There we go.
I've got some proof in the pudding there. Have a look on the floor down there.
And this is what they've been eating.
There.
Oh, yes.
Look at that.
Oh, yep. Another fish. Little one. Little barra. It's 5. That's our best. Oh, you done it? Oh, big fish, ET. Big? Yep. I think so. Yep. Hang on, mate.
Oh, maybe not.
No? You got him?
Yeah, I think
Oh.
only that big one.
I'm serious. Oh.
He's only a little fella.
It's all right. Double hook up again.
Double hookup.
Oh.
And they're biting at the same time.
Oh, another good barra. I think it's the same one, eh? Same spot.
around the same time.
Oh, got a high nose.
There you go. You want me to knock him off you?
Oh, he's a
Look
good
at that.
fish.
That's a nice fish.
Nice fish.
Take away.
Take away, mate. Take him
Take
over.
away.
I'll lift him in if he falls off.
Oh, another
There's
crab.
crab.
God, they're just stuffed with crabs.
Yeah, gorged with crabs.
And guess what we're going to be gorging ourselves on tonight when we fire up the barbie aboard our Wildman River mothership.
Well, I've got a great day in store today. I'm here at the Quintrex factory and have a look at this. Boats everywhere. And today I'm picking up these two magnificent Quintrex boats. This is the 570 cruiseabout. It's a bow rider, plenty of seating up the front, loads of room in the back with a lovely 150 E-Tech and a Garmin sounder on her. This one here, the 690 hardtop. And this is Quintrex's first attempt at a full hardtop. Have a look at it, doesn't it look like a beast? And the wrap, well, it looks like it's already moving. An absolute incredible craft. We're about to put this one in the water. An E-Tech 250 on the back, Garmin electronics. I can't wait to get out on the water in it.
But at beautiful Tippler's Passage on South Stradbroke Island, just a short cruise from the Quintrex factory, the first task I've set myself is to net enough big mullet to equip me with the live bait to ensure my first trip on the 690 is worthy of its great design heritage. And it's not long before I can fire up the Evinrude and head further north to Jumpin' Pin. My mate on this first trip is Wayne from Garmin. He's here to brief me on the amazing technology they've packed into my new control panel. And he's a handy man to have out on the foredeck too.
Well, one of the great things you can do with these big Garmin units is work out whether we're dragging or not. And I mean, it's really important at the moment. We've dragged a couple of times. The wind really is howling at the moment. We're putting our mark right over the top of our vessel on the screen here, and we can see if it's moving and if it's dragging away, and we really want it to hold because we're in not a bad position at the moment. The sounder up here is basically giving us 11 metres, and that's a really good depth of water. The swell's out about another 20 metres from here, so we're actually in a real comfortable zone here where the water's pushing out and it's working its way along the beach. So our lines are actually really quite soft in the water. There's not a lot of strain on them. The current's really not pushing them at all, and the baits are sitting down there right in the strike zone.
Now all I need is patience as we wait for day to fade into night and what we hope is a big Mulloway's dinner time.
Well, we waited around. We actually even had some dinner, but whoa! Hoping this is a nice mulloway. Feels like it. Lots of head shakes. We've had some mullet down there. This is our first outing in the Quintrex 690. Oh, that's the colour we're after. Woohoo! Look at that. Look at that baby. Oh, there we go. Mr. Mulloway. Aren't they a beautiful fish? Hey? All right, eh? There we go. We've been sounding around this area and trying to find all the good ground. We've got this great Garmin set up, and the sonar up the top. We've got the mapping down the bottom. And we felt, right, this is a really good drop-off situation here. It's about 6 metres we anchored in, and the wind's blowing us off, so we're just sitting out from the beach, and we've been waiting for one of these guys to come along. And then all of a sudden, whack, away she hits. And that's what you end up with. Beautiful fish. Well, mate, there you go. And I can tell you now, without the Garmin on board, we wouldn't have had a clue about where we were fishing. See you, buddy.
Back home in New South Wales, I'm heading out on Lake Macquarie with some friends from James Hunter Water Sports. Kayak expert James and husband and wife team Byron and Maddie are here to introduce me to a revolutionary new way to go kayak fishing.
Well, this is the team, the Hobie team. We're up here on Lake Macquarie. And Lake Macquarie is an awesome spot. We're just putting in these Beautiful kayaks. We've got the Pro Angler 12, the Pro Angler 14 and the lovely Oasis in the middle for the couple. We're going to put these in. We're going to chase some flathead this morning. We'll cruise out just in probably a metre of water and just start to work the fringes and the edges. Righto, gang? Let's go.
Hobie's amazing Mirage Drive system gets us going with pedal power, not paddle power. And it's a great way to cruise the lake without the cost and complexity and environmental impact of a motor. Yet we have our arms and hands totally free for fishing all of the time, all day.
Yep,
He's got one.
certainly is.
Byron bags a nice little Lake Macquarie flathead. And it's not long before James is also putting his Shimano and Gamakatsu rig to good use.
Oh, nice work.
Not a bad brim at all. And no sooner is he released than Maddie gets into the act. Another dusky, and well worth showing off. And now it's my turn.
Oh, look at that. Oh, beautiful. Well, there you go. Beautiful little flathead. We're just drifting along over the flat. The water's about probably, I don't know, 6 foot deep out in this stretch, but up closer it was probably only 2 or 3 feet. Lots of weed, tons of weed out there, so a perfect environment for flathead to lay in ambush and come flying out. And I'm in the luxury of this beautiful Hobie, and look at me, I'm sitting up here on the throne. The big chair up the top here, just a brilliant setup. And you can stand up in these that easy, just like that. Wow, what a craft, eh? Very easy to fish out of. I've got a tackle compartment here, so tackle boxes here under the floor, and that's nice and easy. They just all slide straight in, which is perfect. But I've got storage for up to 6 rods laying down the side inside the boat. Now this little flathead, we'll put him back in because I'm sure there's plenty more. See you, buddy.
And there are plenty more. Some big ones. Some not so big ones.
Like that.
And some, well,
Oh, it's tiny. Oh, wait till you see how small it is.
better luck next time, Maddie. But there's nothing tiny about my next lizard.
Oh, well, I've just hooked up to something a little bit more substantial. He's taken a little bit of line off me, which is rather rare for a flathead. He's not an absolute monster, but I tell you, it's a nice fish. All right, he's working me around here. And the gear we're using, and it's very light stuff that we are using. I'm using, at the moment, a 2 to 5 kilo rod. It's got a, oh, look at that, beautiful. So it's a Revolution inshore. Tell you a bit about the gear I'm using. And a lovely little Twin Power 1000 with 5-pound braid. Look at this fish, beautiful. You can hardly see him just in amongst all the weed. Oh, well, there she is. Oh, nice fish. That's the way to end a segment. It's been great fun fishing out here in the Hobies with Byron, Maddie and James. And have a look at that. Cracking fish to finish off. This Hobie stuff, well, Hobie fishing. It's fantastic.
A new day on the Top End's Wildman River. And with my Territorian fishing mate Chris Erity, I have high hopes of a big barra barrage. But could any angler anywhere be prepared for what happens to me on my very first cast?
Oh, I've got him. He's a good fish.
Yep. Big fish there, mate.
Yeah, it's a good fish. I've got half a rod. Look at
I
that.
think it might have got a nick on the way out, eh?
Absolutely,
Gotta
yeah.
be very careful with that. And
It's
this
hard,
is
well, it's
gonna
hard
make
when
it
you're
a lot
travelling,
harder.
mate, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to make it a lot harder because the rest of the rod's down the line. Whoa, look at that. I've got a big fish just here.
Gonna jump. Oh, it's a metre, ET. I think you're very close.
Yeah.
Hey, high 90s at least, buddy.
Yeah, no, he's a good fish. It's a bit hard to keep the pressure on him without the... Look at the boils.
Got no rod at all, mate.
Sensational. You ready? Just get... No. Oh.
Keeping him away from this other side there.
There.
Metering, mate. No problem at all.
Yeah, brother.
How good's that? I just got here.
That's a way to start.
Oh, blimey, that's a big fish.
Oh, yeah.
Big an egg.
On the board.
You love the merry, mate, don't you?
Oh, I love coming
Look at
over
that.
here. That's
First
probably
fish.
my first cast.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's,
Took a few photos.
that's unbelievable. That's the problem. We do so much travelling. Unfortunately, in the process of all that, you get lots of little chips in your rods. And this one here, well, it's probably had some damage through the middle. It's just snapped. As soon as I pull weight on the fish, boom, it just snapped in half. And that just doesn't happen with these Shimano rods. Whoa, that's a big girl. Look at the thickness of her.
Big barra, ET.
Woo!
She's big, all right. This lovely lady could be close to a personal best for me, so we can't wait to get a tape measure on her and see.
Beautiful barra. Definitely a metery, mate. That's a big fish. 110.
110. Yeah, bro.
It's a big fish, ET.
Talk about happy about that, eh?
110. First fish. Oh, look at that. Mate, that's one of your biggest barra ever.
I'll tell you what, it's a happy rod. Going to the grave very happy.
Can it get any better than that?
Oh, big fish.
Oh.
Big fish, boys.
Woohoo!
Huge fish.
I'll up anchor.
Huge fish, man. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, man.
But I'm coming, mate.
All right, it's huge, mate. He's going into that tree. Can't stop him. Oh, man. Look at the bow wave off it. Just reverse out to that way, out that way. Oh, he's going in. Look, he's going in the tree.
Come on.
All right, I've got him.
Come on.
He's coming. I've got him.
Right,
Get
just
the
keep
net.
the pressure on because I've got to go back a little to get forward.
Yep. Okay, we've got him there.
Okay.
We've got just, yep. Neutral, mate. He's
You're
in.
neutral, brother.
Oh, mate, right at the boat.
Right at the boat, boom.
It's a big fish.
The girls are coming in, mate. It is
Look
very
at the
good.
boils off him.
No, that's all right. Oh, my God.
ET. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh.
That's huge.
Wow.
Oh, that's huge.
That's your big. That'll be one of the biggest.
Oh.
Oh.
How big is it?
Just bring him back.
Oh, mate, that's a metre 20.
Yeah, it is. Just
That's huge.
gently. You come down the back corner. Go
Yeah,
left,
see
go
that?
left, go left a bit.
Ah, here he comes. Oh, this is the one we want, mate. Go. Yeah! Look at the size of it!
I'm not going to lift this fella in.
That is big.
Man, that is a
On the
monster.
incoming. I'll give you a hand, mate, 'cause that is
I'm telling you.
huge.
Oh, I'm telling you, that's a monster.
Oh! Down here, mate.
Wow, that's a
Oh,
monster.
that's a huge barra, ET.
Oh, bro. Hey? Woo! Right on there.
Have you got him?
Yeah.
Metre 23.
Oh,
Woo! That is a 50
look
pounder.
at that. That
50.
is.
50 pound barra,
Oh,
ET.
mate, that is incredible.
50 pound.
This is just a behemoth. What a cracking fish.
Our biggest fish together, ET. We've
it is,
caught
mate.
some monsters.
We have.
We've caught some monsters, but this one
Oh, mate, this takes the cake.
It
Yep.
is a huge, it's a 50 pounder.
Big barra demand the best tackle. Nothing less than a Cronulla or Corrado 200 reel on a Shimano T-Curve bait cast 6 to 10 kilo rod. I recommend Power Pro braid or Finn's line at 30 pounds and a Shimano Osea, Asari or Snyder trace of at least 50 pound. Lures that dive to different depths are essential, and my choice includes Barra Classics, Gold Bombers, Barra Baits and the B52.